Our world is home to an alien array of hostile environments. Still, against all odds, life fights to take root everywhere, even in the most hellish conditions. In ice frozen for millions of years. In suffocating, sunless caves. Even in the toxic, scalding hot springs of Yellowstone.
Once upon a time, when I was a university student, I came to this grand prismatic spring in Yellowstone National Park and was absolutely dumbfounded by the profusion of color. Later, when I learned that each color comes from a different kind of living thing in its own thermal ecological niche, I was absolutely amazed. The creatures that live here have prompted us to think that perhaps in some of the exotic locations in our solar system, creatures as tenacious as these have learned to survive.
My name is Gentry Lee. I'm the Chief Systems Engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And it's my job to try and answer just one profound human question. Is there life beyond Earth? The concept of alien life is not limited to science fiction.
There are scientists who believe that it is possible that this is the only planet in the vast universe on which life ever formed and evolved. I am not one of them. I think it's absolutely certain there's something else alive.
But to find life in the vastness of space, scientists need a place to begin.
We start from the fundamental principle that we're going to begin by looking for life as we know it.
All life on Earth flows from one universal source: liquid water.
Water was the original spring that produced all the life on this planet, and now that we are beginning to investigate other planets, it is only natural that we first look for water. The mantra in the quest for life anywhere in the universe is to follow the water.
But most worlds are dead ends, places too extreme even for liquid water.
If you do a survey of the solar system, there are some places that you immediately throw out as having any possibility of life. Venus is basically like the Judeo-Christian concept of hell. It's about 900 degrees Fahrenheit. If a human being were to go there, zap, you would disappear immediately. It is absolutely burned away. Mercury also, it's just too hot on one side, too cold on the other end, just too barren.
However, on some worlds in our solar system, we have found evidence of water. But in these places, life would have to withstand severe environments. Places with extreme temperatures, toxic gases, and intense radiation. Too hostile for complex life, like plants and animals, these worlds might still be home to microscopic biology.
I am often asked, so what would be the big deal if we found a microbe somewhere else? And my smiling response is usually, this would be the biggest scientific discovery in history. Why? It would suggest that the sky may be softly humming with all kinds of life.
One small community of scientists has devised an uncanny way to reveal life beyond Earth.
This is definitely otherworldly.
There is something living in there.
Our planet has a few remote regions that mirror the brutal conditions on other worlds.
We can go to places like this and say, wow, this could be another world. Let's study life on this place and use that as a model for life on other worlds.
In the barren desolation of Death Valley, California, astrobiologist Chris McKay from NASA has found a portal to another planet.
When I walk along a dry lake bed like this in the middle of Death Valley, I can easily imagine that I'm walking along a similar place on Mars.
Mars has long been the focus of the search for life in the solar system. In 2008, NASA's Phoenix lander found water ice in the Martian Arctic. The incredible discovery of water, even frozen water, confirmed Mars as the prime candidate in the quest for alien biology. But still, to this day, not a drop of liquid water has been found on the red planet. How on earth could life thrive on such a dry, deserted world? In Death Valley, Chris unearths a clue to the question of life on Mars.
It's a fatal environment. What's extreme about this environment is the same thing that's extreme on Mars. It's the lack of liquid water. If we can show that organisms could survive in such conditions, it makes it plausible to search for the same thing on Mars.
Digging beneath this desolate terrain uncovers an entirely different world.
You can see this green layer. That's algae living right underneath the surface of the salt. Here we are in a desert, Death Valley, an environment with no evident sign of life. But below the surface, below the salt, there is this clear green photosynthetic layer. This salt layer is providing a little greenhouse protection for these organisms. It's letting light in, but most importantly, it's trapping moisture. So the soil underneath the salt is wetter than one would expect from this dry desert environment.